Welcome back to Mr. Schaefer Reads. Today I will read to you the fourth story of The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen, 1844. The title of the fourth story is The Prince and the Princess. Turn on the closed captions. You understand me, please, and read along. You see those little symbols? Those little symbols make a sound. When you put those sounds together, they make a word. And those words carry ideas. And those ideas grow in your head. And hopefully they're good ideas and they're good in your imagination. And they just make you what you're meant to be. The next time that Gerda was forced to rest, a big crow came hopping across the snow in front of her. For a long time, he had been watching her and cocking his head to one side and then one other side, and then he said, "Caw, caw, good caw day." He could not say it any better, but he felt kindly inclined toward the little girl and asked her where she was going in the great wide world all alone. Gerda understood him when he had said alone, and she knew its meaning all too well. She told the crow the whole story of her life and asked if he hadn't seen Kay. The crow gravely nodded his head and cawed, "Maybe I have. Maybe I have." "What? Do you really think you have?" the little girl cried and almost hugged the crow to death as she kissed him. "Gently, gently," said the little crow. "I think that I might have seen little Kay. It might have been him that I saw. But if it was, then he has forgotten you for the princess." "Does he live with the princess?" Gerda asked. "Yes, listen," said the crow. "But it is so hard for me to speak your language. If you understand crow talk, I can tell you much more easily." "I don't know that language," said Gerda. "My grandmother knows it just as well as she knows baby talk, and I do wish I had learned it." "No matter," said the crow. "I'll tell you as well as I can, though that won't be any too good. And he told her all that he knew. "In the kingdom where we are now, there is a princess who is uncommonly clever, and no wonder she has read all the newspapers in the world and forgotten them again. That's how clever she is. Well, not long ago, she was sitting on her throne. That's by no means as much fun as people suppose. So she fell to humming an old tune, and the refrain of it happened to run like this. Oh, why shouldn't I get married?" "What? That's an idea," she said. And she made up her mind to marry as soon as she could find the sort of husband who could give her a good answer when anyone spoke to him, instead of one of those fellows who merely stand around looking impressive, for that is so tiresome. She had the drums drubbed to call together all her ladies in waiting, and when they heard that what she had in mind, they were delighted. "Oh, we like that," they said. "We were just thinking the very same thing." "Believe me," said the crow, "every word I tell you is true. I have a tame lady love who was the run of the palace, and I had the whole story straight from her." Of course, his lady love was also a crow, for birds of a feather flock together. The newspapers immediately came out with the border of hearts and the initial of the princess, and you could read an announcement that any presentable young man might go to the palace and talk with her. The one who spoke best and seemed most at home in the palace would be chosen by the princess as her husband. Yes, said the crow. "Believe me, that is as true as I sit here and tell it to you. Men flocked to the palace, and there was much crowding and crushing, but on neither the first nor the second day was anyone chosen. Out in the street, they were all glib talkers, but after they entered the palace gate, where their guardsmen were stationed in their silver-braided uniforms, and after they climbed up the staircase lined with footmen in gold-embroidered livery, They arrived in the brilliantly lighted reception hall without a word to say. Ho, ho, ho! Not a word to say now, big man. And when they stood in front of the princess on her throne, the best they could do was echo the last word of her remarks. And she didn't care to repeat it. It was just as if everyone in the throne room had his stomach filled with snuff and was falling asleep. For as soon as they were back on the streets, there was no stopping their talk. Must have been afraid of a pretty girl. The line of candidates extended all the way from the town gates to the palace. I saw them myself, said the crow. They got hungry and they got thirsty, but from the palace, they got nothing. Not even a glass of lukewarm water. To be sure, some of the clever candidates had brought sandwiches with them, but they did not share them with their neighbors. Each man thought, just let them look hungry, then the princess won't take them. She just want a hungry man away. But Kay, little Kay, Gerda interrupted. Where did he come? Did he come? Did he show up? Was he there? Was he among those people? Give me time. Give me time. We're just coming to him. On the third day, a little person was neither a horse nor carriage strode boldly up to the palace. His eyes sparkled the way yours do, and he had handsome long hair, but his clothes were poor. Oh, that was Kay, Gerda said, and clapped her hands together in glee. Now I found him. He had a little knapsack on his back, the crow told her. No, that must have been his old sled, said Gerda. He was carrying it when he went away. Maybe so, said the crow. I didn't look at it carefully, but my tame lady love told me that when he went through the palace gates and saw the guardsmen in silver and on the staircase the footmen in gold, he wasn't at all taken aback. He nodded and he said to them, It must be very tiresome to stand on these stairs. I'd rather go inside. The halls were brilliantly lighted. Ministers of state and privy councilors were walking about barefooted, carrying golden trays in front of them. It was enough to make anyone feel solemn, and his boots creaked dreadfully. But he wasn't a bit afraid. That certainly must have been Kay, said Gerda. I know he was wearing new boots. I heard them creaking in Grandmother's room. Oh, they creaked all right, said the crow, but it was little enough he cared, as if he walked straight to the princess, who was sitting on a big pearl, a pearl as big as a spinning wheel. And all the ladies in waiting with their attendants and their attendants' attendants, and all the lords in waiting with their gentlemen and their gentlemen's gentlemen, each of whom had his own page with him, were standing there. And the nearer they stood to the door, the more arrogantly they looked. The gentlemen's pages, who always wore slippers, were the most arrogant. As they stood on the threshold, oh, that must have been terrible, little Gerda exclaimed. And yet Kay won the princess? If I weren't a crow, I would have married her myself. For all that I'm engaged to another, my lady love. They say he spoke as well as I do when I speak my crow language. Or so my tame lady love tells me. He was dashing and handsome, and he was not there to court the princess, but to hear her wisdom. This he liked, and she liked him. This he liked, and she liked him. So he wanted the wisdom, and this really impressed her. She liked that. Of course it was Kay, said Gerda. He is so clever that he can do arithmetic even with fractions in his head. Oh, please take me to the place. End of the first half of the fourth story of The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen. Tune in next time. Brush your teeth. Take your vitamins. Say your prayers. Wear your retainer if you have one.